Traditionally, when we refer to poker tells, we are referring to patterns. A pattern is when a behavior is correlated with either a specific state or a portion of an opponent's range. In Beyond Tells, I'm going to teach you how to identify, predict, deduce, and reduce patterns at the poker table. In some of the marketing of Beyond Tells, I may have made a statement like, learn what you would take 9 years and 90 days. A lot of what I was referring to was pattern recognition. The study, identification, and analysis of patterns crosses so many disciplines, from cognitive psychology to sports to machine learning. Patterns are literally everywhere, and they're going to play a critical role in Beyond Tells. In fact, when it comes to studying human behavior, poker is probably the single best place to study pattern formation and recognition, and patterns are going to be a core element of the majority of our processes. First, I'm going to explain this at a more conceptual level. At a live poker table, 3 things are occurring at all times: events, actions, and reactions. Events are the actions involved in poker: the flop, the turn, the river, cards being dealt. Actions are any act that a player takes at the table: raising, calling, folding. And reactions are physical changes as a result of actions and events at the table. If you were to play online poker or without paying attention to behavior at all, you would be basing your reads off purely contextual events and actions, which would help give you an insight into players' thoughts and what they could potentially have. When you are playing live poker, we have way more access to information because actions have to be physically executed via behaviors, and players are constantly reacting to events in real time at the table, which creates a lot of information. Let me show you what I mean. This is a visual representation of every contextual action and event in a 3-minute hand. We have a total of 9 actions distributed among 6 players. Now, normally when you play, you are using primarily these frequencies to read your opponent. You're looking at the changes in frequencies and sizing to make deductions on what players have. For example, let's just take a look at player 2. Contextually, this player did 2 things. They limped, then they shoved. But that event was surrounded by history. A good player who has been following pure frequencies might have been able to build a read that this player is limp shoving with aces and nothing else, based on the fact that they never open, and this is just a rare type of behavior for that player. This is essentially a visualization of a very predictable nit. These are players who are very easy to play against because their range is so easily defined. However, this player could just be bored or limp shoving a wider range than we think. This is one of the reasons why we develop a range on range mindset. Because poker is a game of incomplete information, we are looking to make a profitable decision against our opponent's range with all the available information that we have. That being said, the average player is using a relatively limited amount of information to build their reads. Patterns also exist in the variability of their blink rates, in the routine a player uses to check their cards, the speed and style of their bet, their overall level of facial animation, the concealment strategy they use, their base stack, and a lot more. There's a big difference when you play poker using this versus this. Now here's the thing. The amount of noise when it comes to pattern formation and behavior is insane. If you don't know what to look for and when to look for it, it might take you a decade to build an even decent ability to process all this information. However, through creating processes and methods for interpreting behavior at the table, we can efficiently create live reads based on behavior. For example, paying attention to blink rate nonstop is a complete waste of time. You should only be doing it in a specific moment with specific players. By knowing what to look for and when to look for it, we can prioritize certain players, moments, and areas of the body over others to essentially utilize patterns to put certain players in the palm of our hands. This is something that takes practice, but we will have the next 12 weeks to do that. For now, I just want you to understand that when analyzing behavioral patterns at the table, 4 specific themes emerged, and I'm going to go over 2 of them in the next video so you get a deeper understanding of their value.